I'm Keith Olbermann, and this is The Resistance. No American should again stand during the national anthem until our rights to protest are no longer being threatened by this dictator in president's clothing. No athlete should stand, no fan. No one. I will not stand. You should not either. The flag is our dearest symbol. It is the representation of our nation. It is the emblem of our freedoms. And Donald Trump is an enemy to all of these things. He has now shown his true self to us all. If you protest the death of innocent civilians, you should be fired. If you protest him, you should be fired. If you protest, you should be fired. We will not stand for this. Literally, we will not stand. These are the statements that dictators make. Now, not tomorrow, not later, not perhaps, not reminiscent of. These are the statements that dictators make. We have reached that terrible moment in the history of this country when the pretense has been stripped away and the government is, for all intents and purposes, erasing the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. With a series of ever more shrill, ever more hysterical tweets, Donald Trump has abridged the freedom of speech. Donald Trump has abridged the freedom of the press. Donald Trump has abridged the right of the people to peaceably assemble. Donald Trump has abridged the right of the people to petition for a redress of grievances. Donald Trump has demanded, through his press secretary, that a sports broadcaster be fired for being an American. Donald Trump has demanded from his own venal mouth that professional athletes be fired for being Americans. Donald Trump has demanded that those corporations doing that most American of things, making money, should be punished financially for employing Americans who are exercising their rights under the Constitution. We will stop him. We will not stand for him. Trump has escalated this conflict between the America we love and for whom our patriots died and his American dictatorship. This was once only about African-American athletes silently protesting militarized, uncontrolled police aggression against other African-Americans. This was once only about these athletes and what happened to one of them, Colin Kaepernick, and something that smells and looks and feels like a blacklist. This was once only about these athletes and Kaepernick and the KKK and Nazis and terrorists at Charlottesville with whom Trump empathized and who carried the symbol of true disrespect to the American flag, the Confederate flag. And notice Sunday, Trump retweeted this call to boycott the entire National Football League, superimposed on a pattern far too eerily similar to the Confederate flag. But this weekend past, Trump made this far, far worse. He made it about all of us. This weekend past, Trump made it about you and your right to protest during the anthem or to protest against protesting during the anthem. You and your right to protest that Black Lives Matter or to protest against Black Lives Matter. You and your right to protest against him or to protest for him. Under Trump, in the United States of America, you do not now have the right to call him what his own words and action tell you he is. If you do, he may have one of his minions go on live television and call for your employer to fire you or for your employer to be financially penalized. Under Trump in the United States of America, you do not now have the right to protest against him or protest against the racist ex-sheriffs he coddles, or protest against violence against African Americans, or protest against the exponentially growing government-endorsed racial prejudice and, for all intents and purposes, government-endorsed move back towards Jim Crow. Under Trump in the United States of America, you do not now have the right to protest symbolically, nonviolently, respectfully. Under Trump in the United States of America, whether you are for him or against him, whether you are a corporation or an individual, you now do not have the right to earn a profit or a living unless he says so. Under Trump in the United States of America, as his phony voting commission still schemes and plots, you may soon not have the right to protest by voting against him. The athletes he insulted this weekend, and face it, to this point, the athletes and the sportscaster and the others at whom he has directed his dictator's rage have been African Americans. All of them and all of them of other heritages, and all the fans and all the media should not stand for this, should not stand for him, and during the national anthem should not stand. I will leave you with 3 reminders. Trump is not doing this out of some kind of twisted patriotism. This is calculated. It is mercenary. It is cynical. And most importantly, it is utterly hypocritical. Obama's 2007 speech, which @Daily Caller just released, not only shows that Obama is a racist, but also how the press always covers for him. The Trump of 2017 would have had his press secretary call for the Trump of 2012 to lose his television show, his job, and his livelihood. And worse still, if a player wants the privilege of making millions of dollars in the NFL or other leagues, he or she should not be allowed to disrespect our great American flag or country and should stand for the national anthem. If not, you're fired. Find something else to do. Fired if you disrespect the flag or country? April 17th, 2017, standing on a balcony of the White House during the Easter egg hunt. As the national anthem plays, Donald Trump neglects to put his hand over his heart and has to be reminded to do so by somebody who knows what the symbolism of the flag means, an immigrant to this country. And one more from a despot occupying the White House and destroying the First Amendment. Trump, February 2nd. If UC Berkeley does not allow free speech and practices violence on innocent people with a different point of view, no federal funds. Trump's hypocrisy is in its own way perfect. The patriot is not the cynical, amoral, bullying, insulting, autocratic, demagogic hypocrite. The patriot is the American who will risk the public scorn, who will risk the loss of income, who will risk the loss of reputation, who will risk the loss of freedom under would-be dictator who exploits the flag in order to destroy America. Right now, your rights as an African American, as a liberal American, as a conservative American, as an American are being defended not by the president, nor the senators, nor the congressmen, but by LeBron James and Richard Sherman and Colin Kaepernick and a kid named Bruce Maxwell. That was him, the first baseball player to take a knee, with his teammate Mark Kanya being a real American too, not protesting as Bruce Maxwell did, but supporting his right to protest. Bruce Maxwell has never played a full season in Major League Baseball, but he put it all on the line anyway. Why? Well, Bruce Maxwell was born on an American military base in Germany. His father is a career Army man. And his teammate, Mark Kanya, has provided you with a way to support the protest without protesting. Kneel and sing, sit with hand over heart, or stand next to someone doing either with your hand on their shoulder. These young men are the patriots. As for the phonies, do not stand for Trump. Literally. Join the athletes. Do not stand for the anthem. I cherish the flag. I cherish America. I cherish patriotism. I cherish the right to protest, which defines my country. I cherish my country. Donald Trump has nothing to do with my country. We will no longer stand for him. Resist. Remove. Peace.